Good afternoon, everyone. We will tackle about the question and the norm of morality, chapter 5 and 6. I am Kimlel Kabangaga.
I am Jacqueline Arguelles.
And I am Pierre Anthony Balasi.
Raven Ray Seduco.
And we are the Group 2 reporters.
So, good means befitting man's nature. We have shown in the question of man's supreme purpose the intimate relation between morality and man's ultimate end. It is it in this end, which is the ultimate norm of morality. Now, let us show how morality is related to man's nature. One golden principle of common sense is that a thing acts according with its nature. Agari Sigito is saying, which means action is predetermined by the individuality or action follows the being. If a thing acts in accordance with its nature, then it does well. A knife is good if it's cut because the nature or the purpose of the knife is to cut. If a pencil writes well, it is good. If not, it is not good because then it would not fulfill its purpose or nature to write. Similarly, a good man is one who lives, behaves, and acts in accordance with his nature. That is, lives and behaves in a way befitting his human purpose and nature. Good acts are therefore those which befit him as a man, as a human being. The approximate norm of morality in man act is human nature. The ultimate norm is the divine nature. The approximate reason why an action is good or bad is the conformity or non-conformity of the act with human nature. Therefore, ultimately reason why an action is good or bad. Therefore, the ultimate norm of morality is the divine nature. But what does human nature mean? Human nature, aside from being a complicated nature, it is not one isolated from the rest of things in the universe. Human nature, human life, we may say, is a many standard thing. It has therefore many aspects or phases. It is a creature and is therefore is related to the creator. The relationship between the two is called religion. Hence, human nature has a religious aspect. First one is the human nature and its essential relationship. Human nature as approximate norm of morality means human nature adequately taken in all its essential aspect or relationship to religious, social, political, economic, physical, etc. Now, this relationship comprise what we call natural order in things. But the natural order in the basis of the natural law, and the natural law is the reflection of the internal law. Therefore, the approximate norm of morality is the natural law, and the ultimate norm is the internal law. Example tahan, approximate norm of morality. It allows you to decide what is right or wrong and what is good or bad. Sa internal law, according to God's providence, sa Bible, di ba, and Ten Commandments, may langad ko nakabutang na bawal pumatay. Nan, it is a sin to kill ba? So, di ka talaga pwede pumatay. Ang third internal law. The next one is the nature of the norm of morality. We have shown that morality is grounded in human nature. But human nature is one and the same for all men. Men differ in many ways in habits, customs, traditions, race, history, religion, color, etc. But despite these differences, they are all one in their nature. Their human nature. It follows, therefore, that the law of morality, which is based on the human nature, is one and the same and binding all the men of all times, of all place. Just as the jaw of triangles applies to all types of triangles, since the very law of triangles is based on the very nature or the essence of triangles. It follows further that there are actions which themselves in their very nature are morally good and some that are in themselves intrinsically evil, since as we have shown, the morality of human act is rooted in man's unchanging nature. If we base in hierarchy of needs, the lowest basic needs ay ang water, food, and shelter. Ang water, mainom ka kay mauhaw, di ba? Ang food, makaon ka kay magutom. Sa shelter, you have to build in shelter if waray. The next one is the relative versus absolute morality. There are those who claim that since different people have different customs, traditions, environments, religions, races, etc., it follows that morality would vary differently. Also, polygamy, for an instance, they say, is approved as perfectly moral in Muhammadan countries but condemned as immoral in Christian countries. Diba ha, kuan ha, Muslims, kung kaya mo mag-provide financially, physically, emotionally, pwede ka mag-down ng asawa. Pero, syempre, a Christian religion, it is a big no-no. Okay? Syempre, we believe that sacred, it marriage, okay, very sacred na aton. You can only offer your love for one person. So the next one is the divorce. Divorce is practiced in some states in the United States, but out. So talaga kami dahin kuan in divorce kay because of the demand their marriage life. Nakunta, diri anman nangangastigo or ang babae nangangastigo. Tapos diri naka-provide financially or ang lalaki nag-cheat. Ang sa divorce. Next one is the faulty psychological basis of moral theories and misconceptions of human nature. Any theory or morality must begin with a certain philosophy, human nature. In fact, as we shall presently show, the many varied and conflicting explanation of moral conduct spring from the man diverging and oftentimes directly opposing views on human nature. The different norms of morality discussed in the following chapter differ among themselves, and as such, they are premised on different interpretations of the nature of man. And if they are all defective, it is because they involve a limited or false view and hence a misconception of human nature, which as we have shown before, must be taken in all essential relationship in its essential totally or context.
So, chapter 6
So,
is
wait ah.
schedule.
So, ano na kita chapter 6. Go, Jack. Your turn.
Chapter 6 as defective norms of morality. Some defective views on the nature of man, his action, and purpose lead to fallacious answers to these questions, such as number one is hedonism, number two is utilitarianism, number three is moral rationalism, number four, moral positivism, number five, moral evolutionism, number six is moral cynicism, and number 7 is communism. Next.
Balik, Ima. Tumitin. Yan, ikat na lang.
Okay, okay.
Okay, Jack. Wait lang. Ano na?
So, hedonism. Hedonism is an ethical theory which holds the supreme end of man consists in the acquisition of pleasure, and that actions are good and bad according to whether they give or do not give worldly pleasure or temporal happiness to man. Morality, therefore, is grounded on the pleasure of satisfaction that act brings or entails. The good action is a pleasant action. The bad action is that which produces pain. So, ang hedonismo ay tumutukoy sa isang pamilya ng mga teorya. Ang lahat ay ang niya ay gumaganap ng isang pangunahing pagkakanya. Sinasabi sa psychological o motivational hedonism na pag-uugnay ay tutok pag nasa pangdagan ang kasiyahan at mabawasan ang sakit. Example ng hedonism ay like playing a fallen leaf, moment of connection with friends, or cuddling with dogs. So, amity and hedonism. So, next, utilitarianism. Wait lang. Utilitarianism is a theory very much akin to hedonism. It makes utility to norms of morality. Good is that which ministers to the temporal happiness of man. Bad, bad which obstructs or hinders or retards that this happiness. According to the utilitarian view, the goodness or badness of an action would depend on the effects of consequences of an action. An act is good and when it gives good result. If it is work, if if it makes you successful, if it makes you attain your purpose out of it. So, ang utilitarianismo ay isang konsepto nito na ang kasiyahan at sakit ayon sa filosofiya ng utilitarianismo ay mabuti ay anumang bagay nagpapasigi ng kasiyahan at nagpapabawas ng sakit. Ito ang filosofiya ng resulta. Kung ang resulta ng isang aksyon ay nagpapasigi ng kasiyahan at nagpapabawas ng sakit, ang aksyon na ito ay tinuturing na mabuti. There are two types of utilitarianism. Number one is individual or egoistic utilitarianism or simple egoism. Number two is social and altruistic utilitarianism or simply altruism. Next na.
Kim, next slide, Kim.
Next mo na. Critical appreciation of hedonism and utilitarianism. Merits of these theories. Hedonism and utilitarianism explains very well the emotional basis of aspects of human action. There is always some satisfaction accompanying the doing of every good act. Hedonism or utilitarianism also explains well the reasons behind the doing of action by most people, where there is no doubt that most of them are motivated in their action by their desire for satisfaction or happiness or well-being. So, defects of hedonism and utilitarianism. Number one is both propose an earthly goal for man, namely the temporal welfare here on earth, whereas we have already proved in a former thesis that the ultimate and supreme purpose of man cannot be found in this life. So number two is both make or tend to make morality relative since what is pleasant or useful to one may be painful and harmful to another. But relative morality leads to moral chaos and destruction. Number three is both theories make morality extrinsic because they make it depend on the effects or an concomitant concomitant factors of an act. Whereas, as we have already shown, morality is intrinsic. That is, it is based on the very essence of things and good on nature of the act itself. Hedonism and utilitarianism mistake the indicative for the constitutive. They confuse the nature of an act and the effects of the act as if they should mistake the symptoms for the disease. So, next. Moral rationalism, exposition of the theory. Rationalism is a theory of knowledge which maintains that all knowledge and all truth are derived from the human reason. Human reason, therefore, according to the theory, it is the source of all truths, all laws, and all principles. Rationalism, also called ethical rationalism, is a view of meta-ethics, specifically the epistemology of ethics, according to which moral principles are knowable a priori, by reasons alone. Some prominent figures in the history of philosophical of philosophy who have defended moral rationalism are Plato and Immanuel Kant. Why must moral rationalism is an ethical theory of na. Why must we do according why must we do according to Kant? We must do good because we must. It is our duty to obey unconditionally without questioning. So, anya ka ni Kant, kaano kuno kailangan natin maging good. So, nayakan, pagiging good, kailangan, di, paano natin, iton bagat, ang tawag ba yun? Ito ato nito yung duty iguan igbuhaton dere kuan why dapat pag-aanilangan sumbaga. This is the true essence of morality. According to Kant, it is a priori natural experience. It is universal and it absolute. That is invariable, immutable as the law and principles of mathematics. Done na.
So next is moral positivism. Is the theory that holds that the basis or source of moral laws is the laws of the states. Good is that which is accordance with the laws of the states, bad is that which is forbidden by the state. So if wari ka man gin kuanan era laws like wari ka gin broke na rules or laws, wari mga baga nothing will happen to you. But if you broke some rules like forbidden like sa mga laws ng mga states sa moral positivism, you somehow may makukuha mo may matatabang diri okay. So next is moral sensism. Raven.
So moral sensism, this is an ethical theory which holds that man is endowed with a special moral sense other than reason by virtue of which man distinguishes between right and wrong in much the same way that our sense of taste can distinguish between sour and sweet or a sense of sight distinguishes between dark and bright. So an moral sense is parang nagdi-determine hiyahan kunain tama ngan mali as fully developed nga panunahuna di-determine mo na kung hain ka ma-go ng kuan ba nga choices. So siya
So next is moral evolutionism. This is the theory of all those who hold that morality is never fixed or absolute, but it is continually changing and evolving gradually into a perfect morality. So as Friedrich Nietzsche, a German philosopher, believed that morality, the distinction between right and wrong, did not exist in the beginning. Good is that which anybody deserves. So according to Friedrich Nietzsche, niya kuan daw po no like in the beginning diri pa choice wari pa nakapag-choice in desire nga bad. So ang tanan la nira na di desire is for good for themselves, for the others. So wari pa nakakapagbuhatin mga bad. And it says that this morality is never fixed. So diri daw po inhiya ko ang pagbaga diri finalize as the time goes by nagiging kuan nila po yan nag-evolve and then nag-upgrade na lang into perfect morality. Next po.
communism is a primarily an economic theory, but it has some of its basic teachings intimately related and inextricably intertwined with fundamental moral principles. The moral philosophy is the moral philosophy of communism is logical consequence of its metaphysics or view of reality known as dialectic materialism. According to this theory, matter is the only reality. The sole entity of matter is constant flux or motion, and this accounts for all the events, motion, and change in the universe. So that all phenomena of nature, all history, or nothing else but the manifestation of its dialectic process, inherent in the nature of all things. From this view, reality logically follow the denial of existence of God, since God is a spirit and nothing exists but the material. So, an existence of God is walang waray bis about He God is na believe kita is true by faith lang. So, waray physical or pan tawagin na anong nakita yang makita physical or kwan ay tawag yung word may na prueba nga nag-exist God din ng kalibutan. So communism is found in the theory of change, evolution and revolution. Everything is progressing towards the goal of perfection. Man, society, and history naturally and necessarily tend towards the attainment of the ultimate objective, the perfect state here on the earth. A classless society, all these are involved in inexorable laws or dialectic materialism. So, ang communism is ang pag-change ang communism is inerot sa balik diri iya ma-stop ang pag-change in diri tigdahya may da gihap may da oras lagi so may da time may da gihap tigda nga pag-change ang communism. So mag-change kita nga nag-evolve ang communism through time. So siya. Next. Next.
So next is ethical fallacies. Defined or considered as a false principle of human conduct or taken in a broader sense as a wrong or unsound philosophy. So various forms is number one, fallacy of misproportion. Next is ethical fallacies. Defined or considered as a false principle of human conduct or taken in a broader sense as wrong or unsound philosophy of life. Various forms. Number one, fallacy of misproportion or wrong assignment of values. Number two, fallacy of extremism or non-sideness. Number three, fallacy of self-contradiction found in every act which defeats its own purpose. So, a fallacy is a mistaken belief, particularly those based on invalid arguments. It always indicate these ethical fallacies always indicate into faulty reasoning, incorrect conclusion, and even outright manipulation. So the next is fallacy of accident.
Fallacy of accident. Another example of an ethical fallacy is seen in apartheid, the policy and practice of racial segregation based on mere differences of color among men. Specifically, the fallacy therein involved is that said policy and practice takes what is merely accidental, or it, as if it were something essential to the human personality. It contravenes and contradicts the Christian moral principle of the equality of all men, all being God's children. The same moral fallacy shows itself in any act of discrimination against person by reason only of his sex, creed, culture, and financial status, as a basis of employment dismissal from service, etc. So, ang fallacy of accident, makakita kong example is, di ba, ang culture isang mag-couple in bawal ang sex, bawal diri pakasal. So, an natatabo. Okay lang ya, pero okay, natatabo ya, pero pag kita kuan superior is mali. So, nagko-contradict sa ano. Thank you.
So we're done with our report. Thank you for listening. Cheers. That's all, Mom.
Thank you guys, thank you po.
Thank you.
Good job.
Ano ya kita ko?